Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in front of you, you've got 4 different card piles. You're gonna go with the one that you feel the most gravitated towards. If you wanna choose more than one pile, you can totally do so. Timestamps will be in the description box. So if you wanna choose one pile for how strangers see you and another for how admirers see you, please feel free to do so. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to choose, but please also feel free to pause the video. Okay, so if you were gravitated towards group 1, before we begin the reading, I am offering a 15% off sale on all private readings. You can find the link within the pinned comment, as well as if you'd like to catch the extended. I'm going to put on the screen, look at your screen right now. What that reading will entail will be deep diving, a lot more on that one. And it can be also found, the link to that, within the pinned comment. So let's get into it. Let's bring forth the messages this group needs to hear, not the messages they want to hear. And let's bring it forth in a very clear and direct way so that I, as the interpreter, can interpret it to them. Let's first see how friends see you. Okay, so your friends, I feel like, see you as, at times, like, I'm hearing the word den mother, okay? You can be very maternal at times with your friends. They do often, I feel like, go to you for support, or feel like, you know, the love that you offer through support is very encouraging. I do feel like your friends actually are very karmic in nature, so I think you've been with them before. They feel like with the justice side, there's something familiar here. You come back in with the same type of friends. And for some of you, that could be positive. Others of you, that could be negative. You know, maybe a lot of you have been very hurt in friendship, but there, I feel like, is another end of the spectrum with this group where a lot of you have friends that have been your friends forever, or you've got a close-knit bunch of friends. I do feel like at times you could feel, they could feel like, I'm gonna say this, like responsible, you know, responsible for you, very protective of you. I do often feel like at times, you know, they could see you as, you know, someone who's responsible for them. So if you oftentimes end up always feeling like the older one or the one that everybody's running to for advice or wisdom, this could also be what I'm seeing here. You are very loyal in nature. You're very creative. I feel like you are very inclusive. Your friends usually feel like very quickly like family to you. Now, with the justice, there could be something about you, an opinion, a political stance, or just something you really believe in. They could, you know, this could be coming out because we're asking how they see you. They could see you as somebody who is really, you know, for justice and fairness, or has a political view. They know this by you. You feel very strongly about it. Others of you, your friends, could see you as a person who is extremely, you know, beautiful, you know, very natural, very good looking. Maybe even with the emperor, you know, if you have a partner right now, they could, you know, be including that on how they see you. You always pick wise ones. Or you always get the more established ones. I wouldn't be surprised if your friends see you as somebody who is quite the catch, quite the, how do I say this? You know, like a woman of caliber. Like you're gonna get, you know, the more established people, the more established men. Or they could see you as, you know, very connected to maybe even a father or your parents. Okay, very close-knit with the parents, the family. Now, I do feel like with the encrypted card, There can be at times where your friends really don't understand you. I don't know if it's in the way that you speak or the way you operate, but at times you could come across as a little confusing. Or it could be like the things that you say they don't quite understand. Or maybe there's something you're interested in that they don't, there's something I feel like your friends don't really understand about you. And I don't know if it's a personality, like a personality trait, I don't know. But there's something, and it could be the way you operate, because we've got heartbreak place here. So they could see you with the Empress as a very kind, giving person. I wouldn't be surprised if your friends have often tried to talk you out of things, because it's like, what are you doing? You're being way too nice about this, or they feel protective over you, but they often see you as somebody who gets your heart broken. Okay, whether that be through relationships or just, people, like people suck kind of thing. Like I'm just experiencing a lot of issues. We also have haunted by the past. So your friends could see you as maybe even for some of you a survivor of something, or something that you have survived from, or they know very much about your past. But with the Knight, you've got a strength on you that is really bold, okay? They see you as a person who can rise up easily, can just, move forward. You've got a strength about you. So really beautiful cards, really beautiful cards. Let's move on to now how strangers see you. How do strangers see this group? Okay. I feel like we've got a bit of a catch-22. The energy around you from strangers, it feels a little contradicting. I'm not gonna lie. If I feel like I'm these strangers, I'm a little bit I'm feeling intrepidation about you. I don't really know how to read you. You come across as a really well together put person, and that could be in the way that you dress, the way that you look, the way you carry yourself. But I feel like I've got a lot of assumptions about you. Okay, a lot of assumptions. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something about you that would be, a judging person, or, a person who with the karma is a bitch, like may hurt me. I feel like while I look at you and I'm like, wow, because I think you're very beautiful. Again, I think you're very put together. I'm intimidated. I'm a little intimidated, and I don't know really if I want to kind of proceed, to get to know you. I feel like with the Seven of Pentacles, I would definitely take baby steps towards you. I feel like I'm a little on edge around you, and, it could be in your vibe, in your energy. It doesn't have to mean that anything is wrong with you. It's just, you may look like so put together that this could be affecting the people who maybe there's something lacking within them. I'm not going to know how every stranger sees you. I'm just going to say what I see with whoever's being presented. So definitely the people who have a lot of shortcomings, or, are not the most self-confident, would, I feel like, keep a distance. You look, again, so something like along the lines of put together that I feel like I'm a little taken aback. And with the fireman, we got bravest, heroism, sacrifice, rescue, extinguish. I think you have the energy. Like, what do people do when they see these people? Don't they kind of like perk up? They're like, oh, and don't we kind of categorize them as extremely brave and rare, while everyone's coming out, they're going in. I think this is your vibe. It's just, you feel like, I don't know. I don't think I even have the words, to be honest. I'm taken aback. So I think I do want to get to know you if I'm a stranger, but I want to take baby steps towards it. I'm not exactly sure. And I feel like with the energy around you, I'm not really fully able to read you. Okay, because you're coming across as the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the one that's at the head of the table. People go to him, look at him. Look at him on this card. You know, he has like a je ne sais quoi about him that you kind of like, you almost feel less than. So I feel like strangers feel less than when they're around you. Or there could be a ton of misconceptions just in the regards to like maybe what you're looking for, what you want, you know, maybe your expectations or, you know, what you like. I feel like there's a lot of like wondering about that. I do feel like with the Encore card, you could look like somebody who is often celebrated or, you know, may have a ton of people cheering you on. I feel like if I'm a stranger, I'm assuming you have some big grand life. I don't know why. I don't know why people are thinking this. Like you've got a ton of people, you know, and it could be in the way that you carry yourself. Maybe you just really are not that, you know, like of an open book or, you know, someone who's smiling constantly or looking inviting. Maybe you're often just focused on, you know, what you're doing. You know, maybe you're often distracted. So maybe people could be assuming this, but I feel like with the coffee house, again, we would want to get to know you, but like very slowly, because coffee house, it's symbolically like that as well too. Usually when you hear about a coffee house, it's especially through relationships, people are usually starting off with that because they want to work their way. You know, they don't want to go for the full date, okay? They just want to dip their toe and see what you're about. So I'm a little off-putted by you. And I think it's because you have this way of coming across as, I don't know, like super amazing, grand, like someone who just has real clear-cut boundaries. I don't know. For some reason, you are highlighting all what the stranger who's viewing you lacks. Okay? So you could be a mirror. You could be, you know, a heightened empath, a mirrored empath, or even with the Hierophant, he can definitely be a projector. Okay? Let's move on to how admirers and crushes see you. Okay, wow. So there's a lot to unpack here. I feel like admirers, so we're looking, it's looking like there's something kind of bleeding through from the stranger section. Same thing, I feel like crushes and admirers are a little taken aback by you. You come across as someone that kind of piques their interest, but that they feel would require a lot from them. So definitely with the Five of Pentacles, you know, you need to know if there's someone not coming towards you or is a little shy or nervous, it's because they're feeling that there's something about you that highlights the lack within them. This is coming from those that are lacking, okay? But there's this assumption about you, like, come and step to me correctly, okay? They feel like they would have to have their finances in order. I don't know with the money card if you tend to look or, you know, to them like, you know, you are fancy or, you know, materialistic. I mean, listen, people used to always think I was high materialism, like high maintenance. I am like the least maintenance person ever. So just don't take this and be like, no, Chitra, that's not me. It's how they view you. It's their perception, okay? I think you're really beautiful with the art exhibition. I feel like, you know, they get extremely caught up in the way that you look. You are almost coming across as like, you make your crushes and admirers become like delusional with your beauty. It's hard not to look at you. I wouldn't be surprised if they would kind of say that you're a masterpiece. And I'm serious, like maybe for some of you, there's just really distinct features about you that nobody else has. Or if it's not that you're just so beautiful in their eyes, you could be like a masterpiece. But I feel like they're so caught up with the beauty. And I feel like this energy around expect what they think you would expect, that sometimes it can make them give up even before they try. Now, listen, we've got a King of Pentacles here. A King of Pentacles would step up to the plate, but he is you know, he's got his SHIT together. You know, he's got his finances in order. He's got his mind in order. He's got his heart in order. He's well prepared to deal with you. But those that would lack, and I'm speaking not just financially, but I don't know, in any other way, whether it be their confidence, their ego, they're not going to, I feel like, approach you. You're kind of protected in that way. But definitely, I feel like when admirers and crushes see you, they definitely would want to date you. They would definitely want to get to know you. They would want to experience romance with you. They would feel connected to you. But it's more like what gets in the way of that is like, what do I have to offer this person? And there's something about you that's giving off this impression to them that they would have to have that together. They can't just step to you and like give you some half ASS, you know, comment or, you know, pickup line. We've got the ascetic here as well too, which is the seeker of self-restraint, abstinence, purification, and discipline. I feel like you challenge your crushes and admirers to kind of step up in ways that they wouldn't usually, or they haven't in the past, but they know it's going to take a lot more discipline, I feel like, to get to you. They're aware of the challenge, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. And, you know, I don't know, you may have, for some of you, this look like, you know, you're not going to get in my pants very quick. Okay. With that abstinence card, you just give the impression of like, you're going to court me. Okay. We're going to do this right. You know, they may also assume, I have to say everything, that you would want expensive dates with this money card as well too. Okay. That may not be in fact true. It's just what I'm seeing, but it's more like rising up. This is not, I don't think when admirers and crushes see you, they're going to think you're about like the one night stand hookup type thing. You've got this way about you that just says like, no, you know, there's respect. They may see you as a person who has respect for yourself, you know, discipline as well too. So I don't really necessarily feel like they see you as like a flaunting person or a person who's going to be like giggling and laughing. You may have this way about you. You restrain yourself, you know, it's like you put the ball in their court. They can understand that. Now, starting from 0, this guy is scratching his head. He doesn't really know how to proceed. The light is on, okay? So, you know, definitely, you know, caught up with you. I think your admirers and your crushes, like, it's like they feel something. It's like you've turned them on, but there's a lot of confusion on how to proceed. You know, just they look at you like a maze, or some sort of really like whatever the heck this is on the floor. Okay. Like, how am I going to navigate this with this person? We've got this other card. I don't want to read it out loud. Okay. But I feel like it's just kind of attesting to what I said about like the no nonsense. They just don't feel that way about you. Like they're going to be able to pull one over on you, or, you know, come and step to you in a way that is like degrading. Okay. That's kind of what I really want to say. But money is a factor. I don't know why. So if they really don't have any money, they're going to feel really, really odd about stepping to you, or they may assume that you're high maintenance and, you know, then start looking at themselves and say, what can I offer this person? All right. All right. This was your reading. I wish you all the best. Take care. Okay, so if you were gravitated towards group 2, go check the pinned comment. I am offering a 15% off sale for 2 days off my private readings. If you're a client, make sure you're emailing me. The link will be down there, as well as if you'd like to catch the extended reading, we're going to more deep dive into these 5 questions. I'll put them up on the screen. So look at your screen. This is what we'll be asking. In the extended reading, if you want to catch that link will also be there. Okay, so let's channel everybody who's watching in this group. Let's bring forth the messages they need to hear, not the messages they want to hear. And let's bring it forth in a very clear and direct way so that I, as the interpreter, can interpret it to them. How do their friends see them? Okay, so this is really nice. This is really nice. I feel like your friends appreciate you. I feel like you have this way of including them or making them feel like they're home in some way. Four of Wands is like your people, okay? So I don't know if you have this way of making people feel really, really included. Four of Wands can even give you that cozy feeling. Like, so I don't know if you tend to kind of like invite them over, cook for them. Maybe your home is a place of, many gatherings, or, you would be the first one to invite them over and like have a cup of tea, or, give them food or bake. That's kind of something I'm seeing here. I feel like with the Page of Pentacles, I don't know if we've got some people here who are like really great gift givers or just always have the nicest things to say. But I want to say your friends feel like if you call them a friend, it's like you don't just call them a friend, you're there. So that friend you need at 3 a.m. because your tire popped, like that's you. They feel like you come concrete with the loyalty. You'd stick up for them, you'd fight for them. You would be the first one to be there for them. There's no hesitation around that. Like group 2, I'm serious here. Like, this is like a rare, it's unheard of. I do feel like at times, they could feel like they don't even really have as much to give back as you do to them, but they really honor and treasure your friendship. And just like those with the Page of Pentacles, those little things you do. And again, I don't know if it's you send these motivational memes, or you're always messaging them, or you're like with the messaging or the communication always on time, you're not leaving them on red. Or if it's like there's this gift giving aspect of you, or like you're always bringing them something, that is very treasured. Okay, very treasured. Your friends are aware of how rare that is, but it's like the loyalty. Oh my. And they do consider you family. With that card as well too, the 5 of Wands, I just feel like, they see you as someone who would be willing to go to battle with them. It's like when they go through something, now if you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, I don't even have any friends, this is what kind of friend you would be, okay? So just like kind of mold it to your situation. I'm not saying you haven't dealt with bad friends, but if this was a good friend, this is how it would be. Now, this is interesting with the Genius card. So bearer of gifts, extraordinary intellect, innovative mind, and exceptional ability. They could view you as very intelligent. Very intelligent. I don't care if it's academically or they feel like you've got a rare gift. And I wouldn't put it past if like you're psychic and they know it. And, they literally come and run things by you because it's like you would be able to pick up on it. But they view you as extremely intellectual. You may have a gift with wording, advice, but academically, it could be there as well too. Now, there is something here with settling in unrequited love. They may have some thoughts and opinions of, other relationships in your lives, or, sometimes, again, like what I said, they don't have this way of giving back in the way that you give back. They could feel at times like they don't deserve you, or this could resonate with the fact that you understand this in your life. Like maybe you are constantly dealing with this in relationships, like you can't hardly find somebody. Maybe they are aware of that. It's like, how could you not? You're like amazing. You should have a million people after you, or, some aspect of your life and where there's something shortcoming. There's a shortcoming. So I don't know if it's that it's your job, you're settling. They have this view of you settling in some aspect of your life. Or it could be that they always say to you, like, you deserve so much more. They feel this, they really do. And there is this hope that you would find happiness on all levels, but there's something here. And I don't know if it's in regard to love relationships or career, or your parents, I have no idea. Now, this is interesting. Mystic Haven, magic, intrigue, hidden wisdom, and enchantment, or esoteric. I'm telling you, somebody in this group has a gift and your friends are aware of it, and they think it's amazing. They think it's really cool. They've never met anybody like you. You've got like a sixth sense. But I am also seeing like a house here. So I don't know if it's also the way, you keep your place, or you have a style to you, the way you style your house, your even your dressing, or there's something esoteric about you. It's enchanting, but this could also be the wisdom. Okay, I'm telling you, with this group, with that messenger, like the things that come out of your mouth, they've just never heard before, and they consider it, an aspect of you that is very, very cool. Okay. Okay, so let's look at how strangers see you. Okay. So strangers, I feel like, are a little off-put by you. And I'm going to say, if you're a female watching, even more so. There's a quiet strength about you. I feel like what strangers pick up on the most about you is not really the physical looks, it's the energy. You've got a strong energy, and it's piercing. At times it can be a bit confusing to the average person while they're drawn in and they feel comfortable by it. I think it also knocks them off their socks as well too. So you could be very attractive, okay? And it could be in very distinct things. Like with the high priestess, it could be her eyes, okay? It could be her lips, but it could definitely be her energy. So if you're like watching and you're like, I don't consider myself beautiful, I would urge you not to talk like that to yourself. But this is not even that I'm saying that you're some supermodel. Okay, it's really like the energy is surpassing like what meets the physical eye. And I think with the tower, I don't know, I just feel like if I'm a stranger and I have the tower, like this guy's looking, this guy's like, whoa, what's that? Like he has his head turned. He's caught off guard by you. A lot of times people, I feel like strangers are caught off by you. I wouldn't be surprised if this group can understand if I said that, a ton of strangers are always staring, or strangers do stare, and it may be something you don't really know, understand. But it's the energy. And we've got a King of Wands too, because Wands is energy as well too. So the people who are looking at you, they're picking up on that. And I don't think they know really what to make of you. I don't even feel like they're getting much. I just feel like it's like I'm looking at you, I'm picking up on it, but I don't know exactly what I'm picking up on. And with the stringing you along, they could tend to think that, you would string them along. You may have this look of detachment. She's very detached, high priestess. She's not really giving much. She'll look at you deeply, but she's not going to give you much. So they could assume that, you would be hard to get to know. It would be like fighting tooth and nail. If they do talk to you, it's just like you're given brief words. You're not really saying much. So I feel like they equate that into It would be very difficult to get to the know this part. It would probably take a while. They assume it would take a while. I think with the soldier card, we've got guardian of nations, loyalty, honor, integrity, selfless service. You do come across as that. Someone with a lot of honor and respect for oneself. You're definitely not coming across as flamboyant, loud, obnoxious. You've got this quiet grace about you. I mean, think about the soldier. You know, when you see a soldier, don't they have this like, and it's also detached. It's like, you'll see them moving in this marching line, but it's like, you're not getting much from them. You know, like they won't openly say anything. It's just this like, you're just so caught up in the way that they're moving. But you don't even need the words. Even like those guards, you know, in England, is it, or United Kingdom? And, you know, it's like they're just standing there, but you can't get much. It's kind of like stoic in that way, you know, but in the same breath, it comes across as very, like you've got respect for yourself. Like, it's just something about you. It's like, maybe it's a little old fashioned as well too. They could feel like it's old fashioned. Or there's a reservedness, you know, being reserved. Now with the laughing behind your back, that's interesting because they may see you as somebody with the potential to be bullied, or, you know, they could assume you're a doormat, or you could be easily taken advantage of. And so when I see this, I'm thinking that you're either coming across as detached, you have a piercing energy, but people could be thinking that you're just shy. You're shy, you're reserved, you're meek, okay? There could be a lot of misconceptions around who you are. I think you're very strong. I don't think you would tolerate anybody bullying you around, but people could be assuming that just the way that you portray yourself or the way that you come across, like, they may feel, even with the soldier, very protective of you, or that, you know, you'd have to be careful because they could see people taking advantage of you, because you're not outwardly coming across as like a bulldozer, okay? How admirers and crushes see you. Okay, so you're definitely coming across as like dating worthy. Definitely, I feel like someone who comes into someone's life. This is how your crushes and admirers sees you, and is kind of like a gift. I think you're being viewed as a gift, but I also feel like there's this other side of not trusting. I think you are very pretty, very attractive, but you give off this impression like you don't really need anyone. Sometimes that can make, you know, your admirers feel like, I don't know, less than. I also don't know with this dating queen card and the page of cups if you're kind of like a high valued person and you have a ton of opportunity, or they could just be assuming that you have a ton of opportunities. It feels competitive for me, like for your attention. I feel like with the library card and the educator, they definitely have to learn. They feel like they have to learn you, study you, learn how to get to you, how to, I don't know, approach you. There's a lot in the way of the offer with the page of cups, and I feel like there's at times too much thinking about this, how to love you, how to, I don't know, give you what you need, or how to make you happy. Again, with the dating queen, she's really abundant. She looks abundant. She doesn't look like she needs anyone. She's not even reaching for these people's gifts, She's like, oh, thanks, but I'm good, Sometimes your crushes and admirers could see you as like way too up on a pedestal. And this could be what causes the obstacles, the blocks in the pathways, but they could also view you as like a challenge to get to. And I don't know here with the hostile workplace environment, if this has something to do with somebody who's watching right now who has a crush or admire in the workplace. I don't know if you tend to get a lot of those crushes and admirers in the workplace. If it's not that, then how they could see you is maybe, something could be off about your environment. Maybe they could also view you as, maybe somebody potentially hostile, somebody who they're a little apprehensive about. With the magician, I feel like at times there's something that they don't see clearly about you. And it may not be that it's anything real. It could just be the person, who's causing this in their mind. But, it's like there's a trick sometimes they feel like that's being played on them regarding you. And it is, I feel like, assumptions, but sometimes they feel like they don't see you clearly. Like, who are you really? I feel like there's this one way about you that is like very public, and it's like they assume a bunch of stuff, but then it's like, who are you when nobody's around? Or who are you on your own? Like, who are you? I keep going back to this card because I just feel like there's something about her that she's portraying out there, but your crushes and admirers sometimes feel like that's not really you. Like, there's something else, So it could be kind of confusing for them at times, but listen, you could resonate with the fact that, like, your crushes and admirers get so caught up with you that they start to assume like all kinds of crazy things, like that you would backstab them, that you're a mean person, or that they would get eat up by, you. I think we've got a fear. Your admirers and crushes, they are taken in by you, but they also fear you. And, we've got the destiny card with the luck, chance, and meant to be. I don't know if this is like, it's too good to be true. They see you like that, like you're too good to be true, so that they don't end up trusting it. Like, there's just something with the magician. Like, I feel like, who are you? I feel like there's a trick being played on me. Maybe with the, again, educator and the library card, like, I gotta get to know this person. There must be another side. Or maybe it could be for your crushes and admirers. Sometimes they maybe wish you were someone else. Yeah. Maybe they wish you were a different way. They could see you like that. Like, I just wish she or he was like this and not so much like that. Like, I liked her or him, but I wish they were like this. It's like someone else with that magician, But they could at times think you're wearing a false mask. They could maybe not trust you. but at the same time, very caught up with you with the Page of Cups, wanting to express love, but oftentimes keeping it to themselves because, I don't know, there's just this, I need time. And I do often feel like sometimes they want to catch you in a moment that is very vulnerable, but you don't really have that about you, I'm not saying that you're full of yourself, but for you to be vulnerable, it may not just be your style, it just may not be your style, but it's like there's an uncovering, a wanting to uncover who you are, who you really are when you're not like around other people. What are you like on your own? This kind of thing. So it's a bit difficult here, very difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a ton of problems, when it comes to admirers and crushes stepping towards you, or, being brave enough to come towards you. There's this competitive nature, I feel like, them feeling like they have to compete with others, or like, I don't know, that you're wearing some sort of a false mask. They don't trust you, okay? What they're seeing at first glance, something along those lines. All right, let me know what you thought. Thanks. If you were gravitated towards group 3, before we begin your reading, I am offering a 15% off sale off of all private readings. The link will be down within the pinned comment, as well as if you'd like to catch the extended reading. I'm going to put the questions that I will be asking in that extended reading up on the screen for you right now, so you can determine whether you want to catch it or not. If you want the link to view it, it's down also in the pinned comment. So let's begin your reading. Let's bring forth the messages this group needs to hear, not the messages they want to hear. And let's bring it forth in a very clear and direct way so that I, as the interpreter, can interpret it to them. So we're going to first look at how your friends see you. So group 3, wow, pretty significant cards here. Listen, I think your friends see you as a very well-rounded and respected person. I feel like there's loyalty. They view you as loyal. But listen, I also feel like in the same breath, your friends are very aware of the amount of respect you have for your space, your life, yourself, that if it came to it and, they became not necessary anymore, or they became, something that you felt like wasn't good for them anymore, you'd easily cut them out of your life. I just feel like here, there's a lot of like understanding from your friends, and it doesn't have to even be that you've told them anything. It could just be the way that you operate in life, the way that you move. Maybe they've heard you talk about other situations, but it's like, don't underestimate this person. Like, they do not underestimate you. They know they can't take your friendship for granted. You'll easily break away. And, I do feel like at times there could be this mysteriousness about you. I don't know if you tend to kind of go off on your own, or you need these bouts of separation. I don't know that I feel like I'm sensing, you're always around. You seem very busy to me if I'm your friend, constantly achieving, doing something with your life or going somewhere. So I just feel like there's this like not being able to pin you down type of thing or put you on a schedule. They understand you're very about your life. I'm dead serious, like really about your life. Like it's about you, it's about where you're going. You have aspirations, you have dreams, and they do view you at times as a little cutthroat, not gonna lie, with the Five of Swords. There is this feeling, this inner feeling like they know they wouldn't win if they tried something, okay? But you're about yourself. You're about, like, they're very aware of that, you know, very aware of that. And I think it could be through what you talk about, or it could be often those like bouts of separation where it's like, hey, I gotta go do what I gotta go do. I can't hang out today, sorry, you know, like I gotta go get on this, you know. I think your friends view you also as a person who's on the move, again, trying to do something in life, and, you know, very busy exploring, you know, options and routes and all these great things. And, you know, again, with the friendship breakup, they don't put it past that. They kind of feel at times like they're not really that important to you. Now, don't worry about it. That's their problem, okay? You're a very busy person, so don't start thinking now you gotta go tell your friends how much they mean to you. But they're very aware too of the space that you create, you know, the distance, the healthy amount of distance. And, you know, it could be through, you know, not really, you know, responding so quickly, or, you know, sometimes I can't come out, you know, but they're aware that you have a life. They're aware, they see you as somebody who is, you know, doing things, you know, busy, trying to make something out of yourself. So they view you like that, but they also view you with the Nine of Cups as a person who is about your business, you know, is about attaining, you know, your wishes fulfilled. Like you are a dreamer, a doer, a person with, again, these big wishes. And it's not so much that you want it to happen to you for no reason. You're with the Queen of Pentacles, you go about it and you make it happen. So high achiever, all of that good stuff. And with this card, the doctor, the healer of ailments, treatment, surgery, diagnosis, compassion. Listen, you could be very knowledgeable. You could have some real good knowledge on, I don't know, holistic medicine, or I don't know, maybe this is what you're doing. I wouldn't be surprised if for someone watching who's becoming this, and I would assume that this would take a lot of your time, okay, to become a doctor. But they could also see you, there is a word on here, as compassionate. So it's not that you're like a brute or that you're like mean. You're about your life, but you're also very compassionate. So I do think they think, you know, they view you as someone who thinks of them. You know, I'm not thinking that you're going to forget major things like birthdays and whatnot, but when it comes to the day-to-day life, like they see you as very busy. Not only that, like at times maybe very distracted or distant because you've got so much going on in your life. And again, nothing wrong with that. But I like this card here as well too, because they know you're very well equipped, okay? And you could have like this speech about you, you know, where it's like, don't even try it because I'm gonna crush it, you know, like you can't step to me like that way. Or they could view you as somebody not easily that they can take down, okay? So they have to come correct is what I wanna say. Let's move on. How do strangers see you? Okay, so I do feel like strangers become very smitten with you very early on. You feel like a favorite to me, like a favorite. Like I just this person would be a favorite of mine. I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing. So I don't know if it's that it's like people are easily drawn in. I feel very drawn in, very connected if I'm a stranger to you. And it could be that you have this pleasantness about you or what feels like a best friend immediately. It could be in your words, but it could be also in your exchange. I do feel like with the Queen of Wands, there's this, grand way about you. And I don't know if it's the way you look. I don't know if it's your presence. You come in real sharp. I don't care if it's also the way that you dress or it's like your hair, but you've got something about you that I feel like I gravitate towards. And I don't know what it is. That could be for some people here where it's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like people always comment on my hair or they like my glasses or they like something, the way I dress, or I just have this bold look about me. Like, I dress like maybe, in costume where people don't really, see people who dress like me. I don't know, but it could also be very SCXY, not gonna lie, with that Queen of Wands, I do feel like with the Eight of Swords, they could also sometimes feel like when strangers see you that they're a bit restricted in a sense. I do feel for the most part you are, pulling people in, but there is this feeling of not wanting to be hurt, I feel like, or feeling like, I think this is reflecting on those that are a little bit taken aback by you, but it could be because of what they lack. I don't know, because that's kind of like a victim card. So I don't know why people would assume or feel that way. I think they may feel like they could get hurt by you easily, especially because of what I've mentioned. So if you're very attractive or you come across as, look at her. Let's just look at her, on the nightclub card. And don't worry about what ethnicity she is or how, her body looks. She's really feeling herself. She's like in a good space. You can feel it. It radiates out from her and everybody's looking at her. So I feel like at times people could feel like how to get to you. Like, I don't know how to get to you, or you can come across as maybe a little bit out of my league, or, everybody wants your attention. So how do I get to you? Popular. You could come across as looking popular. You probably have a bunch of people around you or this and that. Lots of assumptions, but it's interesting because with the blacksmith as well too, we got forge, melting, shaping, and tempering. I would say you come across to strangers as well too as somebody who is humble, someone who can mold themselves around people. Even though I mentioned all that stuff, I don't feel like people are looking at you like a snob, okay? Even if they view you as popular, you have this way of like interchanging yourself, maybe even shocking people at times because what you look like and then when you speak is totally different. So let's say if they assumed you'd be one way, whatever you say out your mouth can be kind of surprising sometimes and, be like, oh, wow, this person seems really nice, or I didn't expect that from them. There's just something about with the blacksmith, like something that changes on you very quickly. Strangers see that. What they see at first glance from when they get to like talk to you a bit more, or it's like it's different. It shapes differently. Now we've got karmic lesson and rolling in their grave. Now that is very interesting to get for how strangers see you. I would say here, this can kind of sometimes be a downfall. This may not resonate with everybody, but I do feel like there's this, for some people who meet you, like equating you to somebody from their past and being like, I'm not going down that road. Or, this person reminds me of my ex. Sometimes you can get dubbed and labeled as someone from someone's past, or like, I wouldn't even be surprised if this is so stupid that people start asking you what your sign is and they're like, hell no, not going down that route. Like, I feel so distinct with this message. It may only resonate with a few of you, but sometimes you get labeled for like what people have, witnessed in their past, or, and it's unfair. It's really unfair. So even if you're like a really pretty girl, but, this person some stranger had a bad past with a pretty girl, she may not even have to necessarily look like you. They may discard of you or be like, hell no, I learned my lesson. I'm not going down that path again. You can remind people of things, of other people. You can do that to strangers. You can remind them of someone else. And it's almost like I'm seeing this like off limits. Hell no, not going down that route. So this is a bit unfair. It's a bit unfair for me. Okay. But yeah, you could come across as just very fun, very, likable. But, strangers may also notice that other people stare at you, or, what the move or the energy of the room when you walk in. But you could have a very feel good, bringing people towards you type of vibe. And Two of Cups will do that. Two of Cups, when you sense this person, you will want to exchange with them. They feel good. But then there's this, and I think it may only resonate with a few of you, and it's unfair. It's really unfair. Okay. How admirers and crushes see you. Okay. Wow. I actually feel bad for your admirers, because there could be a ton of being messed with in the mind when it comes to your admirers. Your admirers and your crushes definitely overthink when it comes to you, but it's because of the way you come across. You do come across as somebody that they would want to move forward with. Like, you're definitely coming across as someone they could see themselves with long term. But they understand that, there's a protocol. They feel there's a protocol with you, that they have to move a certain way. Or they start to feel like they have to strategize. And I'm feeling overthinking here. I'm really overthinking. I'm feeling like I have to be so careful of what I'm saying if I'm around you. And at times I just feel like really screw up things for the person who's interested, because I don't think you necessarily like a shy person. I think you actually like a more confident person, a person who goes for it. But I think a lot of the times your admirers and your crushes put you on a pedestal in a way that is so disillusioned, because you feel to me as like a real feel-good, down-to-earth person. You're really none of that. You're none of that. But I can understand if there are people watching who, have, this look, like, let's say this, and don't worry about how she looks. I'm just look at her vibe. Does she not look like she's got it together? Does she not look like an intelligent and bright person? A person who, is about her business? So I can kind of understand. But yeah, I just feel like with this long distance card, there's this feeling of not being able to get to you, or feeling like, your admirers and crushes, they put way too much distance in between the two of you. And oftentimes it can be, for some of you, like a foreign issue. Like maybe a lot of your admirers are not the same culture of you, and that causes problems, or they think that you wouldn't like them because they're a different culture. But it could just be about distance, they don't feel like they can get to you, or they feel like a lot of the times that ship has sailed, like there's no point. Here we have the wallflower. They feel shy, they feel withholding. I know this is two girls, but I'm just, we're asking about how your admirers think of you and see you. I feel like this is like the person, and just looking at you like you're just like, how am I going to get to that person? So they often feel like they have to strategize or do like something amazing to get to you, because they assume that you are looking for something spectacular, like a grand gesture or a grand display of affection, something along those lines. But they do feel spiritually connected to you. We've got the church here. Now, they could see you as somebody who is about your faith. I don't want to put it past if we've got people here who are, very about their faith, whatever that may be. But this is also sacred architecture. They could look at you like, foreign, something they've never come across, but they could also feel very spiritual. They could see you as a connection that they've never experienced before, something maybe out of their limits or what they've not experienced. But you've got the card of leveling up. They often feel like they have to level up in order to get to you. But they do feel like you're a kind person. I just don't think they think you easily show it. I don't think that, I don't feel like you're a pushover. The fact that the Ace of Cups is up his sleeve says, yes, I am a kind person, but I don't just give it to everybody. Okay. So it's not that they don't think that you're that, they do, but, maybe they feel like it's like you deep down, and that you don't outwardly really show it too much. But they also feel like you inspire them. Your crushes and admirers see you as like a celebration. Soulful sound is here as well too. They could like really be hooked on the sound of your voice. We've got passionate, creation. You tend to stir up all of that in them. And it's kind of interesting with the musician card, because, I know this is going to sound very cheesy and tacky, but they do see you as like a mastercraft, but you may also spark that within them, all what I've mentioned, in a way that they've never felt before. There could be also something very artistic about you. They could see you that could make sense if you are in the arts and, arts field. They could view you like that. But, oh my, I just feel like this group has a ton of admirers and crushes, but they never step forward. They just stay there by the sidelines, constantly figuring out how to get to you, when it's like, oh my goodness, I am just the most down-to-earth person. Just come and ask me, just like, I'm just so down to earth. Like, so this could be very difficult for you to experience in life. Very difficult, because again, it couldn't be further from the truth. I just think you're so down to earth, but people aren't seeing that. They're viewing you as something out of reach, something in which they need to change in order to step to, something they need to change about themselves. But very intimidated they could be as well too by you. Very intimidated. I mean, if you look at these two girls, actually, they have the same kind of look too. It's not that they look rude or snobby. It's just they have a way about them. You can't deny it. There's a way. There's an energy of the way that they're posturing themselves. You're about your business. You're, a very well-rounded, educational, about your business type person. But at times I feel like people can, in the admire and crush department, really it can fall flat in this area. You know, when we viewed the strangers and the friends, it wasn't too bad, but admirers and crushes, it can kind of screw you up. And I wouldn't be surprised if you resonate also with being somebody who is, you know, very well off, or, you know, you're at the head of your field, or, you know, you've got a great job, and sometimes it can work against you where, you know, men feel inferior. Who knows? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, take care. Let's bring forth the messages this group needs to hear, not the messages they want to hear. And let's bring it forth in a very clear and direct way so that I, as the interpreter, can interpret it to them. How does their friends see them? Okay, this is very intricate. This is a little funny as well, too. I'm not going to lie. I feel like people, your friends, tend to see you as a very strong and confident person. But at times, I feel like there could be this like rubbing me the wrong way type of thing. You may be a little loose with the things that come out of your mouth at times, or you've got a temper on you or a way about you. It's flamboyant in energy. It doesn't feel like it's aggressive. But it's like sometimes I feel like your friends are just like, okay, this person doesn't know any better. You know, like they accept you for who you are, but you could have a side to you that maybe sometimes they feel is a little bit tricky to deal with. So I don't know if there's like a feistiness, okay, or of like a telling them how it is. I don't think you're definitely afraid to speak your mind, but at times it can feel like a little overbearing, okay? They could also view you as somebody who is very self-made, highly independent. You always get what you want. You always get what you need. You're taken care of. You go out and you find it yourself if you need to. But at times I just feel like there could be a little jealousy here. There could be a little jealousy, you know, that's a very independent, abundant woman. And it may not even just be in regards to finances, but it could just be always getting what you need, getting what you want, getting your way. You could be very happy. You could have a happy family. You could be very prosperous. And it doesn't have to be a family that you created. It could be your own family. And sometimes I just feel like you have this look of just having everything. And you would, I feel like with this group, have to be very careful with who you invite into your life. Because if there are those that are, you know, and it's not necessarily that they don't have it, but if they don't have a good attitude about it, or they're not evolved somehow, this could lead to a ton of jealousy. Now, there with this card, dragging their feet in committal, you could be a little bit hard to pin down. Maybe you're not the most committed. You know, maybe sometimes you tend to give this, you know, you are always moving to where the wind blows you, or, you know, flaky. You know, just like, I can't catch you. I don't know where you are half the time. You say you're going to do something, you don't. Or this could just be about, you know, relationships. Maybe they are just like, you know, wondering why you haven't met somebody yet, or why you're not getting with that person who likes you, or what are you taking so long about? Again, very highly independent. And, you know, with this group, you're not going to be able to pin them down. They really are into themselves in a very healthy way. But I just feel like there's a lot of misunderstandings between friends, and sometimes your outward look, or when people don't know you very well, can come across as a little overbearing or a little too much, in the sense of having like that picture perfect lifestyle. People may need to know you a little deeper, because with the C, okay, it's so deep. Like, I don't think you openly wear it. You know, this is not the pile that's going to be disclosing all of their secrets, or, you know, what it took for them to get where they are, or, you know, like secrets, you know, about themselves. You kind of protect yourself that way. But in the end, on the contrary, it sometimes makes people not really know where you come from or how you got where you got from. So they're just seeing something on the surface. Now, this could also be too that they see you as self-obsessed or like the queen of selfies. This doesn't have to be bad, okay? But you know, it could be that at times you're in your own world, or it's just always about you. You know, I don't know, maybe your looks, you know, you're very into fashion. She's also into fashion. They see you as a fashionista. You know, just always about the luxuries or how things look, like your lipstick and your mascara and all your little things, okay? But again, they could sometimes feel like you hide things. You hide a lot about, I don't know, maybe how you go about things, how you get things, who you are. There is a bit of suspicion from your friends, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if this group resonates with being asked a ton of questions or people seem nosy at times. There is suspicion around you, okay? Whether that's justified or not, I'm not here to read on that. But it's a bit difficult here. I would say, you know, for those that are watching, be very careful with who you are allowing in, but you could really be a big personality. This can also be, you know, a big personality. And usually when you have a big personality, you will rub people the wrong way. But the thing is I feel like you draw them in at the same time as well too. So this is the group where your friends could definitely be haters in disguise, but they hang around because maybe there's something that they hope to benefit from by being around you, or I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know if it's to benefit. I don't know what this is for, but you would have to be, I feel like, very careful with this group, okay? How do strangers see you? Oh, I just took out 2. Okay. I feel like strangers are extremely drawn in by you, but also very conflicted at the same time. And I feel like they go back and forth between 2 things with the 2 of Pentacles. Wondering and fantasizing about who you really are, but then also being in the same breath caught up with what they see at first look, first impression. You seem like somebody, I feel like, who may have a lot going for you. Ace of Pentacles, I feel like there's something tangible in the way that you look or the way that you express yourself, like a go-getter. You know, you look like you go after what you want, but I feel like this is also with the Ace of Pentacles, could be something that you wear on you. Maybe there's a piece of jewelry, or maybe that you just look like money. I don't know. But you have this look of like someone who just gets whatever they want. But I'm going to say this, okay, because I want to be very honest. And if this doesn't resonate with you, just don't worry about it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some people who chose this group and have been called a gold digger, or, a money person, like somebody who is like high maintenance, or looks like they like money or want money. And it could be with the Ace of Pentacles that it's a car that you drive. Again, it's the way you present yourself. I feel like people can't tell if it's been given to you or if it's something you've created on your own, but you come across as, I don't know. I feel like there's like a disconnect between, I feel like people feel you, they feel your energy, they wonder if there's something deeper there, but then they're abstracted, like the visual or the feeling is abstracted by what they see on you. And listen, this can go the other way as well too. If those that are watching who resonate with, maybe like you're driving a beat up car, or you don't look like you have money, there could be a lot of curiosity about your finances or your financial situation, but I just don't know which way it swings. I don't know if people think you have a lot of money or they think you don't have any money. Like, I can't tell. The other thing I feel like they wonder, or how they see you, is with the museum. You could be quite interesting to look at. People do go to museums and look at things. There could be something very interesting about your look. Maybe there's a questioning on, ethnicity. What is that person's ethnicity? Wow, they look different. Or, where are you from? Something along those lines. But it could also just be your look, you look different. You look unique. You may even look ancient. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this group has been told they look like Egyptian or something, like the Egyptian gods or something along those lines. But I do feel like drawn in with the museum card. So it's not like you're going under the radar, or, like I don't notice you. I feel like I do notice you. But it's tied in with something also around like wondering about finances, or what's your financial situation, or you look like someone who either doesn't have money or looks like you have money. With the court card, we've got judgment and verdict. I feel like people's opinions of you are very set in stone, but you could get very judged very, very quickly when strangers first see you. With that court card, like, it's almost unfair at times, with you. People could make a misjudgment about, you and what you're about or what you're like. So it's difficult. It's difficult, I feel like, with this group. With the overshares, listen, she looks, she looked kind of happy. She looks like personable. I do feel like this could be that some of you, you tend to kind of, maybe when strangers see you, you do tend to overshare, or you will be quite sharing. So it's not like you're, introverted. You will speak, you will laugh, you will say something funny. You do come across as personable, but I do feel like maybe in some of those interactions, people could assume like maybe you are a gossiper, or, you look like that type that would maybe spread something that doesn't need to be spread, like a gossiper, something along those lines. Or you could just be overly chatty, to be honest. That's just what that card could be. You're just very chatty. People could say, wow, that person, like, wow, like they talk a lot, or they said a lot, something along those lines. With the parental alienation card, that's interesting to me. So I don't know if they wonder about, if you are a mother or a father, or if you have a family. There's a lot of like that, do you have kids? A lot of people, when they meet you, wonder that. And I don't know why they would, but that could just be for a few of you. With the creator though, weaver of imagination, creativity, innovation, invention, realization. I think you do definitely with this card spark curiosity with people. But again, you also look like somebody that goes after what you want. You would be the first to like, you just have this way of like looking like you're ahead of yourself, okay, ahead in life. Or you just, maybe you're in your work outfit and you like somebody who's, just going after your dreams, or, working, or, on the come up. Could be like that as well too. But you don't look laid back in any sense. You like somebody who definitely is like that go-getter vibe, like just jumps at opportunity, doesn't look like a laid back person. Okay. How do admirers and crushes see you? Oh, geez. Okay. Wow. Wow. Listen, you need to be told, group 4, that at this moment, there's a ton of people that have crushes on you, more so than you're even aware of. I don't think it's that difficult to fall for you. But what I do think is that you come across as, I feel like, someone who is a bit too much to your crushes. Like, it just feels like the emotion could be too heavy at times, that we give up before we even proceed. I don't know if you're always like a choice. So what I mean to say is, I don't know if a lot of married men go for you, or if a lot of people, who are already in committed relationships, are coming at you or falling in love with you, but you're always like giving this choice. There's always this choice. Admirers and crushes see you as a choice. And I don't know if it's that you have somebody. I don't even know if that there's people watching here who are in a relationship, but there's a ton of people falling in love with them. Or it's like, again, you attract people who are in relationships already. I do feel like your crushes and admirers see you as a sacred bond, in which they would want to have a serious relationship or a partnership or union, period. And they feel very connected to you, but they don't trust you, or you kind of always seem like off limits or taboo, or I'm going to get in trouble with this person. Like, they worry about their heart with you. They really do worry about their heart for you. So when people fall for you, they fall very deeply. But they're very, very worried about how things will turn out with you. They don't trust. So I don't know if we've got people here who are falling in love with you who have been hurt before. It could be that you attract a lot of those ones that just got out of a bad relationship or something along those lines. But I feel like they sense destruction ahead. So they don't even, I feel like, proceed or even let you know. Or, like I said, a lot of you have crushes right now and admirers that you wouldn't even be like aware of. Like, there's plentiful with this group. But I also wonder too if they see you, for some of you, as with the 5 of Cups, someone who is, has been hurt or has been in a relationship before that you're not exactly healed from. It could be as well that too. But you've got secret crush coming up in the crushes. Like, for real? So there is one person right now at this time who has a deep crush on you. But I feel like they are terrified to explore this. And this could be twin flame energy. It could be a very seriously heightened connection. But I feel like ultimately this group, you know, your crushes and your admirers see you as someone they want union with, in which they feel like very connected to you with the family card. But I don't know, they could feel at times too much, that they end up giving up before they even bother, because there's something about you that feels dangerous to them. And we've even got singer here. Resonance, moving hearts, harmony, emotion, and performance. Your crushes often see like you as someone they have to perform for, or they have to be a certain way for, but they do definitely feel resonance with you, but you move them, but not just like, you know, in a SEXUAL way, like you move their heart, okay? You do feel very harmonious, but you bring out an emotion in them that sometimes is just really too difficult. And it's kind of interesting with this card with the unwilling to share. You know, I really don't know if there's people watching here who, you know, can resonate with the fact that they constantly keep picking up people who are like with other people, or, you know, you are taking and you keep meeting people who are interested in you. It just feels crowded. It feels like there's always this crowded energy. Either that or distractions or obstacles. But with the garden, they definitely want to explore, but what keeps them, you getting unavailable people emotionally. You are getting a lot of unavailable. Either that or this would require they assume or feel like you and this connection would be so much, or would require so much, that they just give up. They get too exhausted with it. They feel at times like it's too exhausting. How they see you are exhausting. It's difficult. They can't compete. You know, even the Three of Swords can talk about like too many people, you know, involved. So I don't know. I don't know if we're getting unavailable men or women. I don't know what this is, but you definitely touch the hearts of your admirers. But it just seems like at times it's just too much of a deep love, that they just would rather walk away from it because they just don't have the energy to deal with it. It's kind of sad. But you have many, group 4, you have many secret crushes. That coming up in this pile tells me that. Okay? All right. Let me know what you thought. Take care.